Hello, I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. And joining me is the goddess of DC, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Bam! Greetings and salutations, all.
Joining us is DC Councilmember Zachary Parker. Hello.
Hey, y'all. How are you?
Before we discuss your first several months as a new DC council member, please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
I am an educator. I am honored to represent Ward 5 on the DC Council. Before serving on the council, I represented Ward 5 on the State Board of Education. Worked in district and charter schools for many years here. I'm originally from Chicago, although I've had family that grown up and still live in the area. And I'm really just passionate around building what I consider healthy communities where residents have basic needs met and we can build a more just DC.
Great. What is some legislation that you have introduced since becoming the Ward 5 council member in January of 2023?
There have been several bills. A few that I would highlight include the School Safety Enhancement Act, which focuses on spikes in violence that many are seeing across our district schools and charter schools in the district. It commissions the Deputy Mayor for Education to work with public safety officers throughout the district to come up with enhanced school safety guidelines and to design a role of a school safety coordinator for our public schools that would ideally go into effect next year. That work is currently underway, and I'm really looking forward to working with the Deputy Mayor of Education and my council colleagues to ensure that we can enhance school safety. One thing I would just point out here is that the council decided to maintain SROs in our schools, and this legislation focuses on non-police personnel to really think more expansively around how do we keep school communities safe. Another that I would highlight includes the child tax credit. We know at the height of the pandemic, the federal government provided relief to families throughout the country, including here in the district. And as a result, we were able to slash the child poverty rates here locally, but also across the country. Unfortunately, that child tax credit ended. And so the district child tax credit looks to reinstate that relief for district parents. So all parents that make under a certain financial threshold would be able to receive up to a $500 credit for up to 3 children. This legislation is still in committee, and we are hoping that we can have a hearing and get it fully funded in next year's budget. And one of the other pieces of legislation I'm really excited about is the Black Queer History Commission, which seeks to honor folk like Rayceen and many others who have come before me and that have long been a beacon of hope and inspiration here in the district, but that our history books don't talk nearly enough about. And so this legislation would establish a history commission that would research and document the history of Black queer people in the district, and for that archive or to exist at the archives. And that hopefully will get underway soon and will be included in next year's budget as well.
What are some of the bills you supported or issues you prioritized as a council member?
As you can imagine, public safety is top of mind for the council. And so there have been quite a few bills related to public safety. One that I'm really hopeful about is seeking greater transparency with the Office of Unified Communication. That is our 911 office, and it has had a long history of trouble, and we have a new director. And so the legislation that I co-sponsored with council members Christina Henderson and Brooke Pinto calls for monthly data sharing from the Office of Unified Communications. I would also say there have been efforts to ensure that we expand housing and housing protections. I was proud to join colleagues in fighting for rent increase cap for rent control properties. We didn't go as far as I would have hoped, but I was still glad that the council acted and we were able to cap rent increases at 6%. and 12% over 2 years, that we were able to provide many resources to our vulnerable neighbors. And there were many things included in our budget that I'm really proud of, including that we were able to fill many of the gaps and things that the executive unfortunately slashed, from rent stabilization to food resources and the like. And so many of the things that I've sought to co-sponsor and champion have been around how do we help people meet their basic needs and ensure that folk who have long lived in the district and can stay here and thrive as the district changes so rapidly.
Thank you. It's really great to hear about specific pieces of legislation as well as some of your larger goals. And I want to go back because I know Rayceen would be interested in hearing more about the Black Queer History Commission. And it would be great to hear from you, your goals in proposing that and what you think the outcome would be.
The goal is to honor those that have come before me. When I was campaigning, I talked about representation matters. And it doesn't matter just so I can take up space, but it matters so that I can tell the story of those who have come before me and ideally educate young Black queer folk who will come after me. And the truth is that many of our forefathers and mothers and poor people are aging and passing on. And that record is not documented in many places. And so we often talk of either through Pride season or other moments around how we need to do more about telling our stories, sharing our stories. And I'm glad that Rayceen has received many flowers and will continue to do so. But I thought it was important that we document this and hold it in the DC archive so that we can tell a more full story around LGBTQ history here in the district that is inclusive of the tremendous contributions of Black queer people.
Excellent. Rayceen, do you have thoughts on this proposal?
Oh, I'm just delighted. I just can't wait to hear more and love to come in and give my voice more to, my voice and my concerns around that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I introduced the legislation. We are hoping that it will have a hearing. It calls for the mayor to nominate X number of people to the commission. It calls for the council to nominate X number of people. And I will just say here on the record, Rayceen, I hope you're one of those individuals that will, if not on the commission, will certainly help guide its work, because I think you represent what we're trying to protect, which is a tremendous legacy here in the district.
Thank you.
Councilmember, you are relatively new. You've been serving since January 2023. What have been your impressions in being a so-called junior council member? What have you learned in these first several months?
Where do I begin? That there are so many competing priorities, and there are so many worthy priorities and competing interests that it is essential to prioritize without wavering on that North Star that guides you and those principles that guide you. And for me, that's around, again, making sure people's basic needs are met and that we can build what I call healthy communities, which is another way of talking about creating a place where we all have a shared quality of living, regardless if you live in Ward 4, Ward 5, Ward 8, Ward 7, what have you. And we know we're not there yet. It's also been really interesting to see how government works from the inside. And while I was on the state board, and Erin, I know you are a commissioner, in many respects, those roles still feel outside of the sausage making, if you will. And so now being in the inside of where the deals are happening and decisions are being made, you just see how the executive, the legislative branch, the judiciary branch must work together, and how often that is not happening, and the consequences for that, from public safety to the efficiency of many programs to making sure that essential programs like HPAP actually have the resources that they need. Things like HPAP running out of money mid-year is an embarrassment, but also a reminder around how our different sectors of government are not working ideally, optimally together. So I would say competing interests, just really seeing how government works from the inside. And the other thing I would also say is just making, there's still a lot of work that we need to do to reach the everyday Washingtonian. And I've really been inspired by the ways that the council is trying to do this more. Shout out to Christina Henderson, the chair of the health committee. We are in the process now of trying to hold a health committee hearing in the community, talking about the opioid crisis, to actually go to where people are struggling versus always being in the Wilson building and having folk track downtown. And so I would just say making government more responsive to people, and the need for government to be more available and present in people's day-to-day lives has just become increasingly clear since serving on the council. There's so much more. I would also say just the need of just taking a break from time to time, because it is a lot. And so to run the marathon, you just need to prioritize in order to make the distance. So,
yes, I very much appreciate what you're saying about engagement with the public and how you reach people, and bringing hearings into communities that are impacted is a really great idea. I'm wondering if you can also talk about some of the feedback you've gotten, what the responses to your service as a council member have been so far.
Yeah, I should ask Rayceen as a proud Ward 5 resident, not going to put you on the spot, but yeah, day to day, you realize that you do the best you can in service of those principles that are guiding you, and in the true, genuine interests of your residents, and let the cards fall where they may. I would like to think that residents have responded well to the ways in which we've tried to be responsive to constituent services needs, the ways in which we've tried to really conduct robust oversight of our agencies and our programs. I'm right now in a classroom because we're doing school walkthroughs, even while on council recess. There's no such thing as council recess, by the way. But at the same time, I know, because we all often have competing interests, there are going to be times where I let people down or I disappoint people. And that has been made, that has been clear to me. And I think for that, what I just come back to is trusting that what I'm doing is in the best interest of residents and those guiding principles that are moving me along. So, but overall, I would like to think residents are responsive to the work that we're doing. Rayceen, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to give you a line that it's so, it fits this moment. The race is not given to the swift, but those who endure. So that is one of those wonderful, meaningful situations when take your time, learn from everything, keep going, don't overdo it, don't burn yourself out, and just remember those words.
Yes, yes. Look at that wisdom. Look at that.
Yeah. The next question goes to Ward 5 resident Rayceen, who wants to ask about an upcoming event.
Please tell our viewers about Ward 5 Day.
Ward 5 Day is going to be Saturday, August 26th. There will be a fun-filled event hosted at Turkey Thicket. There will be food, music, games, vendors. There will be a backpack giveaway that we do annually, hosted on the same day. Later that afternoon, we'll have our first ever Ward 5 Awards. Many may not know this, but many years ago, Harry Thomas Sr., when he was council member, hosted Ward 5 Day. And so this is a way of me honoring his legacy, but also centering community and some of the anchor programming for my office and bringing this tradition back. And we hope neighbors will come out, take advantage, bring the whole family. There will be music. You can watch a movie and the screen that we're having playing. There will be games and music and water for the children. And we're hoping that it will be something that we can look forward to annually. And yeah, Ward 5 Day, August 26th.
It looks really fun.
Yes.
Councilmember, please tell our viewers how they can keep up with you and what's upcoming.
Neighbors can reach me at my website at zacharyparkerward5.com. You can subscribe to my weekly newsletter to hear about all the things happening in Ward 5 and across the city, and through my office at ward5.us/newsletter. Follow any of my social media pages, from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook, as CMZ Parker 5. For Facebook, it is Councilmember Zachary Parker, and you can reach my office at Ward 5 contact at dccouncil.gov, or if you want to call, it is 202-724-8028. We are happy to be at your service. And even if you don't live in Ward 5, you can reach out to our office, and we're happy to connect you with your council office and or be of any support that we might be able to provide to you.
Viewers, there are many ways to get in touch with Ward 5 Councilmember Zachary Parker. Look in the description below for links. Councilmember, thank you so much for joining us. This has been very informative and enjoyable.
Thank you for having me. We have to do this again where I could be part of a panel and we could talk about all of the hot topics that are happening in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
Viewers, thank you for watching.